We're in Alaska. Hi, I'm Dennis Gage. Welcome to My Classic Car. Well, this week we're in Fairbanks, Alaska at the Fountainhead Antique Auto Museum. I gotta tell you, this place absolutely blew me away. There's a whole lot of one of one and only one left, and even some Alaska-only stuff in there. Let me take you inside and show you what I'm talking about. Well, Willie, this is an unbelievable museum. It is so good to be here. Fountainhead Antique Auto Museum, Fairbanks, Alaska.
In the north.
About as far north as you can get, actually.
That's it.
What an amazing collection. I mean, this is just absolutely world class. I'm just completely taken by it.
Well, we believe that. I mean, and thank you. I mean, it's a great collection of cars, and we have several that are the only ones that exist.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I don't even know where to start, really, because you've got so much cool stuff here. But let's start with one of my personal faves, the Boattail Speedster, the Auburn Boattail Speedster. This is a 1933, right?
33.
This was one of the sleekest cars I think ever built. It looks fast sitting still.
Yes.
It always, in the cartoons, when you had the wolf that was always like chasing the women around, he was always driving this car.
And it was fast enough to catch him.
It was fast enough to catch him.
Yes. This color scheme was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright.
Really?
Yes, and this car is one of 3 that was built in this configuration.
This baby is actually a V12 engine.
160 horse, and at that time they were very conservative on their horsepower ratings.
Boy, that is one steep V.
Yes, it's an aircraft style engine. It may have an oil spot or 2 on it because we drive all these.
Yeah, that's another great thing about this museum. Virtually everything, almost everything here runs.
Everything has to be maintained running. We drive everything except for a couple of fragile cars.
The top, it's just so squashed. I mean, this thing was a hot rod. This thing's like chopped from the beginning. And a gorgeous engine turn dash, just right for 2 people to go motoring down. But of course, the real payoff with this car is the end here, the boat tail. I mean, it's just art. This car is rolling art. And these were originally designed, I guess, for racing, and this was so you couldn't draft.
Couldn't draft behind the boat tail car, absolutely. And this car was factory rated at 90 miles an hour.
In 1933, which is, I mean, that's fast. I just absolutely love this car. And again, going down the road, nothing looks like one of these.
No.
But you've got so much here. You've got so many incredibly cool cars that, like I said, I didn't know where to start. I don't know where to go next, but let's go find something else.
Let's go find one.
All right. Willie, you've also got some really cool race cars. You got about 3 of these little period midgets.
We do.
And I think this, though, is my fave. This is a really, really special Offenhauser.
It is. This was Bob Swanson's car.
Who was a very famous racer.
Yes, and he won almost everything on the East Coast in his car.
Now, he was really good, but it was also in part because of this engine, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Because of the power of this engine, the performance of it, they made them sometimes start a half a lap back. On these cars. People don't realize how unsafe these cars were now.
Well, there's no roll bar.
No. Sit in here, Dennis, and show us what's exposed on
these
these
cars.
Absolutely. Get right in there.
You don't get in, you put them on, actually.
That's right. That's right.
Holy cow. Yeah, okay. And then you work your way down.
Now this was.
You don't go any farther down than this.
That's it. Everything that's out is exposed.
I am the roll cage.
Yeah, from right there up,
Holy
there's
cow.
Nothing else. We would put a leather helmet on you
that
this
would make
time
it much...
and a pair of goggles.
Well,
protect your eyes.
I bet there were no old midget racers.
Not very many, no.
Wow.
What you have there is what you have. You have a throttle, a fuel switch, and an ignition switch inside of the car, and that's all you have. The brake is on the outside here. That's the brake. Mechanical rear wheels only.
Oh my God. And the steering gear is out here too.
Yep. And the fuel pump on the side there to pump up the fuel pressure in the tank.
Wow. So, but you were really sticking up here. This was a dangerous sport.
Absolutely. These guys were really, really brave at that time,
or not real bright.
One of the two. We like to think brave.
Wow. Well, it's just one of 3 midgets you've got, and they're all really cool and really unique. But this Offenhauser is, I mean, that's just such a gorgeous engine.
Oh, it is. Just a fabulous car.
Wow. Well, let's go play with something else.
Let's go.
Welcome back to My Classic Car, coming to you from Fairbanks, Alaska and the Fountainhead Antique Auto Museum. Well, Willie, this is another really rare car in the collection. I'd never even heard of it before. It's an Argonne?
It's an Argonne, 1920 Argonne. It's one of 24 built, and a fabulous car, fabulous car.
I love the front end.
This has the Rochester Duesenberg.
Which is not the Duesenberg engine you'd normally think of. It's not the dual overhead cam, straight 8.
No, it's only half of that.
Okay.
It's only a 4-cylinder, but
with a completely different design.
Absolutely. This is what they call the walking beam engine. Now, Model T times, 1920,
yeah,
they were 20 horse. This is a 100 horse engine.
Wow.
Oh yeah, guaranteed 80 miles an hour.
In 1920?
In 1920, they guaranteed you 20 miles to the gallon with a performance engine.
Wow. And I love the rear end of it too, with the, you know, the wood here, the chrome here, wood here. I mean, you could load this baby up with luggage. This is quite
absolutely.
a rear deck.
Absolutely.
2 spares.
2 spares.
Gas tank back here.
Gas tank, you can lift that up for access, that first board.
Oh, really?
The second board.
Because it doesn't look
lift
like...
that right up.
Oh, okay.
Look at that.
So you could get to it. That's
Yes.
great, because I couldn't figure out how you'd put gas in this.
Yeah,
baby.
it looked like, how are we going to do that?
That is cool. I mean, no, they're just gorgeous, ultra rare.
And they only built 2 of these with that engine, and we're fortunate to have the Survivor having that engine.
Well, that's great. But hey,
look here.
Look at that. Let's check that out. Well, Willie, I think I like the story of this car the best. This is the
first automobile in Alaska.
Okay.
And this is the only car built in Alaska.
Manufactured in Alaska.
Absolutely. Bobby Sheldon built this car in 1905, 1906 in Skagway. 18-year-old lad, never seen a car in his life.
Really?
Built this out of parts he could find down there. And the chassis and stuff that you see, the wheels came off of freight carts from around the docks down there. The seats were built out of bar stools that he scrounged up.
That's what it looks like. And this is the gas tank here.
The gas tank is there.
Wooden stopper, and that's a house light switch.
That's a household light switch. Well, he worked for the power company.
Ah.
This Faro Special engine, 2-cycle marine engine, is what was supposedly in the car. We haven't documented that, but that's what we understand so far, is that that's the engine that was in the car first.
Wow.
Came out of a sunken little boat, and he resurrected it and used it to build this car, which he had to do to one-up a horse.
Why did he need to one-up a horse?
Because he was pursuing this young lady, and she was being pursued also by a doctor's son who had access to a nice horse and buggy.
So he built this car to impress a girl, and he had never seen a car before.
Never seen a car before, just pictures of them.
How'd you do with the girl?
Well, she married 3 times, but not to him.
He's probably a lucky guy.
Yeah, he kept the car.
If he'd married her, he probably wouldn't have the car.
And if she'd have married the other guy, the horse would be dead by now.
I love the story.
Yes.
That's awesome. Now, I've always liked these, Willie. I've seen a few different manufacturers. This is what's called a Cyclecar, right?
Cyclecar.
And they're all this really narrow tandem seating.
Built on a small economical chassis.
And what is this one? This is a
1914 Woods Mobilette. These cars were designed to compete with Henry Ford, and at that time, 1914, Henry Ford was selling cars for under $400. So this car would sell for $385. But if you wanted a top and a windshield, that was $15 more.
So they didn't come with those?
No. If you wanted a speedometer, it was $11. Now, if you had money to burn, $10 would buy you brakes.
Whoa, came without brakes?
Yes, brakes were optional, and that's how you keep the cost down.
Well, how do you stop it?
Your imagination, slow down, whatever works.
Well, I like the Cyclops headlight.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and it's right square in the driver's vision.
Yeah, perfect. All these cycle cars with this tandem seating arrangement,
forward and rear, but they were safe to send your daughter on dates in.
Well, yeah, you couldn't get in a heck of a lot of trouble in here.
That's right, she had to sit in the back. And it might be something that maybe we could take this out and let you drive it, and you'll understand why they didn't pan out. There we go. Now this is a hot rod, so
I can do it.
Hang on.
I'm a professional. Now this is another one and only in the collection, right? This is an 1898
1898 Hay Hotchkiss.
Hay Hotchkiss, 2 names, Hay Hotchkiss.
2 names,
Okay,
yes.
what's the story on it?
Well, Walter Hay designed this car, and then they had 21 engineers spend 2 years to build it.
Wow.
Consequently, with 21 engineers, 2 years, they were broke. Never went into production.
Is this the only one ever built?
This is the only one ever built. Prototype.
So it never made into
Never
production?
went into production. And
Totally over-engineered.
totally.
This has got to be one of the first tilt columns.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Tilt column, adjustable,
Yeah,
high-low range.
yeah. What's this lever?
That's the clutch that
That's odd.
engages things. Yes.
Hand-operated clutch. Mm-hmm. And
This is reverse control. The rest of these are your fuel, your throttle, and choke.
gosh,
And of course, then you have your
the
bell.
bell,
You have
right?
to have
Gotta
that.
have
you
to
know,
have-
didn't
Well,
have a horn.
But you know, back
The
here,
engine was fabulous. On
this
this
is
thing.
unbelievable.
What's rare is this is a horizontally opposed 4-cylinder air-cooled engine.
In 1898.
8 cycle.
Well, what are the 8 cycles?
Well, Walter Hay decided that you had to have 2 exhaust cycles to purge the cylinders,
Okay.
so it was running cooler. So that when you took in a mixture of combustible air and fuel,
You'd fire, you'd exhaust, then you'd
Twice.
intake, and then you'd fire, and then you'd
Yes.
exhaust. Must have sounded really weird.
it does.
And what a weird gearing situation. It looks like it's coming right out into a differential
Well,
almost.
You'll notice there's a pinion-looking gear
Yeah.
here. That's the end of the crankshaft.
Wow, okay.
It runs 2 big bull gears here, one each direction.
Uh-huh.
High and low drive off the left rear wheel. Reverse drives off the right rear wheel. So if you had both clutches engages, you might go in a
You're in a
circle
circle.
real quick. It's just kind of unique. And Walter Hay said that it ran so cool with this system that you could actually run this with no oil. It only ran a trifle harder.
And a trifle less long.
Yes, yes. The life would probably be a lot less.
Wow, what an interesting, the copper in this thing alone is worth a fortune today.
It is. That's why we keep security on it. We don't want to salvage for the copper.
Let's go look at something that actually went into production.
Okay, let's do it.
Now, Willie, this is a really interesting car. This is a compound, right? Is that what it's called?
This is a 1906 compound. Fabulous car. Very rare.
Yeah.
The only one left.
Oh, is it really?
Yep. Total
Okay.
production of about 300 cars. First of all, the advertisement in 1906, it said it was smoother, it was more powerful, it was more efficient, and when you walk to the rear of the car, there's no odor. And that's important with the increasing number of automobiles in the cities today.
In 1906.
In 1906.
So it's a green car.
This is our first green car, our first emissions car.
So what was the deal?
You'll notice it's a 3-cylinder car.
But I only see 2 spark plugs.
There's 2 spark plugs. Now, the front and rear cylinders are 4-inch bore, 5-inch stroke, high compression pistons. The center is a 7-inch bore, 5-inch stroke. And the burning gases from the other 2 dump into there, continue to burn, exhaust gas recirculation.
Right.
We didn't see until the 60s.
Wow.
So they have carburation and ignition on the front and rear, but nothing on the center.
So it's really an afterburner almost.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. And how did it work? Did it actually work pretty well?
It runs pretty well.
Wow.
It really runs pretty well. It's also the first time you see mechanical brakes, power assisted.
It's gorgeous, and one of the things about it is, early cars had white tires, white rubber, and then they went, ultimately evolved to black. But this has gray tires. Was that just a step along the way?
We had to transition, and this is one of the colors that they came up with as they were slowly adding carbon black to the tires.
Yeah, well then it's great, of course, with the gray color of the car. The coach work on this is stunning.
Beautiful job of building this car.
And then you got the stadium seating here with the back seat a little bit higher than the front seat.
You always put your wife up higher than you are.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Chain drive car.
Both driven.
rear.
And nickel leaf springs too.
Right, and they chose to use nickel rather than brass at that time. And it just makes a more spectacular car.
This is really a beautiful, beautiful car. I mean, again, coach work and everything, just stunning on it. This had to be an expensive car.
It was a very expensive car for the time.
And the only one left.
The only one left.
Right here in Fairbanks.
Fairbanks, Alaska.
Holy cow. How often do you see that, huh? Oh man, the Fountainhead Antique Auto Museum here in Fairbanks, Alaska is truly unique. unbelievable cars, and virtually everything runs. You know, this may be Fairbanks, Alaska, but this museum is absolutely world class. You gotta check this out. Let's go. What do you say? Come on, baby. Come on.